Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Saraya Mia. The late Tun Daim Zainuddin has been laid to rest at the Bukit Kiara Muslim Cemetery in Kuala Lumpur around 6 p.m. today. The former finance minister passed away at 8:21 a.m. while receiving treatment at Asunta Hospital. He was 86 years old.
Earlier, over 200 people, including family members, politicians and business leaders, gathered at the Federal Territory Mosque in Kuala Lumpur to pay their final respects. Daim's body arrived at the mosque at 3:30 p.m. following a brief wake at his home in Bukit Tungku. Daim, whose real name is Che Tun Daim Zainuddin, served as finance minister from 1984 to 1991 and again from 1999 to 2001. He was widely recognized for guiding the country out of the economic crisis in the 1980s and 1990s, helping Malaysia achieve one of the highest economic growth rates in Asia during his tenure as finance minister.
Tributes and condolences have been pouring for former Finance Minister Tun Daim Zainuddin, who passed away today. This includes former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, who in a statement mourned the passing of his longtime ally.
Mahathir expressed immense grief at the loss of his friend who, quote-unquote, fought with me for the nation and religion. Mahathir ended his statement by saying, "I can only pray we will be together again at a certain time." Earlier this afternoon, Mahathir, along with friends and family, gathered at Daim's house in Bukit Tungku to pay their last respects. Daim was known as Mahathir's right-hand man during his tenure as Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, who received the news of Daim's passing as he arrived in Peru, said that the government values the contributions and service of Daim to the nation. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof said Daim had played a pivotal role in shaping Malaysia's economic landscape during the 1980s and 1990s. Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil, in a post on X, also prayed that the family would remain strong and patient in facing this loss. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, meanwhile, described Daim as a prominent leader who had made significant contributions to the country.
In other news, a man accused of murdering a woman believed to be his mother and stuffing her body in a freezer 3 years ago has been remanded for 7 days starting today. Kuala Lumpur Police Chief Datuk Rusti Muhammad Isa says the 53-year-old unemployed suspect has no prior criminal record. Police are still awaiting health and autopsy reports on the victim's body, which was sent to University Malaya Medical Center for post-mortem. On Tuesday, police arrested the suspect after he turned himself to the police, leading to the discovery of a woman's body in a freezer at a house in Taman OUG. Investigations are ongoing to determine the motive behind the crime. Police have confirmed that the whistleblower who sent an open letter to the Yang di-Pertuan Agong regarding an alleged bribery case in Sabah has received a death threat. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razaruddin Hussain says the case is being investigated under Section 507 of the Penal Code, which addresses criminal intimidation through anonymous communication.
Razaruddin told Bernama that the 36-year-old male informant received a threatening WhatsApp call from an unknown number. The caller, claiming to be from a hitman group, threatened to kill the informant within 24 hours if he did not remain silent. Further checks found that the phone number was no longer in service and had no registered owner. The whistleblower claimed to have videos of Sabah assemblymen involved in corruption.
Findings from an internal audit and investigation by the MACC into the 43.9 million ringgit investment loss in Fashion Valet will help improve governance at Khazanah Nasional. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan says the government will continue to strengthen governance and oversight of the use of public funds.
Khazanah perlu diberi ruang untuk proses siasatan diselesaikan. Segala dapatan yang dimuktamadkan nanti akan digunakan untuk menambah baik tata kelola khazanah.
He explained that Khazanah Nasional and Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB had invested in Fashion Valet because the e-commerce platform was seen as a promising company at the time. He noted that the investment aligned with the government's push to support the development of e-wallets and e-commerce, while also acknowledging the high risks associated with startup investments compared to traditional ones. He was speaking during his winding-up speech on Budget 2025 at the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday. The Cabinet has approved a 442.3 million ringgit upgrade for Kota Kinabalu International Airport, KKIA. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says the project, fully funded by Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad MAHB through an investment recovery model, requires no government guarantees. Set to begin in 2024, the project will span 48 months with completion expected by 2027. The project will expand KKIA's main terminal, increasing its capacity from 9 to 12 million passengers per year. Plans also include a multi-story parking facility, 7 additional aircraft parking bays, and upgraded surrounding roads. KKIA is Malaysia's second busiest airport after Kuala Lumpur International Airport, KLIA. It handled up to 9.4 million passengers annually. While numbers fell during the pandemic, forecasts show capacity could reach 12.4 million by 2034. We'll be right back after the break.
Rambut gugur lagi? Macam mana Gunakan Pantene Baharu dengan provitamin mikro yang meresap dan menguatkan rambut dari dalam. Rambut 10 kali lebih kuat terhadap rambut gugur. Pantene Baharu.
Satu dekad penuh gemilang. Sepak takraw kini kembali penuh dengan aksi mendebarkan. Dapatkan tiket anda sekarang. Pelanggan Astro juga boleh memenangi tiket di aplikasi My Astro. Jangan lepas peluang keemasan ini.
Penyasaran subsidi diesel di Semenanjung tidak akan memberi kesan kepada harga barangan keperluan di Sabah, Sarawak dan Labuan.
660 individu berusia bawah 21 tahun di Sarawak telah diberikan kewarganegaraan.
Sarawak kini menjalinkan kerjasama dengan Bank Dunia dalam menjayakan perdagangan karbonnya.
Welcome back. Under Budget 2025, 19.6 million ringgit out of the nearly 64.1 billion ringgit allocation will go toward in-service teacher training. Chan Soon Seng from Teach for Malaysia says this investment is essential, urging a focus on high-quality, continuous professional development to enhance teacher quality across the nation.
How do we support teachers to be the best that they can be? So all teachers go through pre-service training, but the reality of and that happens before they become a teacher, right? So if you went to pre-service training 10, 20 years ago, the reality today is that education has changed. Your students have changed, society has changed, and if you don't adapt teaching practices to what is relevant for today, that's where learning begins to get disengaging. And so we need to support our teachers to continuously develop their practice throughout their entire career. And so I think that it's a good thing that actually in this budget, we're seeing increases in the continuous professional development budget. And so if used effectively, that can help teachers to really upskill and make sure that they stay at the top of their game.
He also emphasized the importance of incentivizing highest performers to progress in making teaching a more attractive profession.
And so the reality is that Malaysia actually compensates fairly competitively at the entry level. And you know, with the increase that for civil servants that has been announced, that will go up even more, right? And so teachers on average who are graduates, they make about 3,000 plus ringgits. And so it's not a terribly low salary, right? I think the challenge though is that for your most ambitious people, promotion timelines take a long time because in the civil service, it's a time-based promotion. And so it takes 8 years for your first promotion. And so if you think about a high performer in the private sector, nobody will last 8 years for their first promotion, right? They'll move on to somewhere else. So if we're thinking about how are we really incentivizing our highest performers to progress, we need to have more innovative mechanisms in their employment track to be able to allow people to fast track, so that we're ensuring that we're retaining our most promising and our most ambitious, and rewarding them for their performance as well.
On to international news. Several international airlines, including Malaysia Airlines and AirAsia, have cancelled flights to and from Indonesia's Bali today, following new eruptions from a nearby volcano. Mount Lewotobi Laki-Laki, located on Flores Island, sent a towering ash plume 9 kilometers into the sky just yesterday. India's Indigo and Singapore's Scoot joined in cancelling flights on Wednesday, along with Australia's Jetstar, Qantas and Virgin Australia. The Malaysian embassy in Indonesia also said that it is evacuating 83 Malaysians following the volcanic eruption. The recent eruptions from the volcano have claimed 9 lives, injured 31, and forced over 11,000 people to evacuate. Ash from volcanic eruption poses serious risk to aircraft, potentially damaging jet engines and obscuring cockpit visibility. The Indonesian Bureau of Meteorology warned that ash is expected to continue affecting Bali throughout the day. U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has appointed billionaire Elon Musk to help lead a major effort to streamline government. Musk, along with former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, will co-chair a new Department of Government Efficiency. Trump says this initiative will operate outside the formal government structure, meaning it won't require Senate approval, and allows Musk to stay at the helm of Tesla, SpaceX, and social media platform X.
The team's mission: implement sweeping reforms, including cut government spending, slash regulations, and reduce red tape, all with a target completion date of July 4, 2026. Musk, ranked by Forbes as the world's wealthiest individual, became a key supporter of Trump's during the campaign and has stayed close since the election. Musk's support for Trump has paid off for Tesla. The electric vehicle company's stock has surged nearly 50% over the past month. This latest announcement comes as Trump continues to build his team, which now includes Fox News host Pete Hegseth as his nominee for Defense Secretary and former Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe for CIA Director.
Meanwhile, New Delhi is choking under toxic smog today as air pollution levels surge to more than 50 times the World Health Organization's recommended daily limit. Cooler temperatures and slow winds have trapped dangerous pollutants in the city. The smog season is expected to last throughout at least January. At dawn, hazardous air pollutant levels were more than 53 times the safe limit. By midday, pollution levels eased slightly, but remained up to 35 times above safe levels, depending on the area. Visibility at 18 regional airports dropped below 1,000 meters, with Delhi's airport falling under 500 meters. The thick smog is a yearly crisis in New Delhi, primarily caused by stubble burning in nearby states, along with emissions from factories and traffic. For many residents, air filters are too expensive, and their homes offer little protection from the toxic smog, which is blamed for thousands of premature deaths each year. That wraps up AWANI Tonight. Do check out our revamped English web portal, delivering in-depth news and analysis to keep you informed on the critical events shaping our world. All in one place at international.astroawani.com. That's all for now. I'm Saraya Mia. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.